Dear Autogefühl fans, I welcome you to another episode today, especially for American friends, because Infiniti is quite famous in America, not so much here in Germany yet. And today we are looking at this little fella here, 4.86 meters long and 2.16 meters wide. So quite a huge fella, but it will be a lot of fun with this car. So let's first take a look at the detailed design. You see, from the overall perspective, the idea of the car is that it's, well, very different from many others. And you really see that, especially here from the side profile. The basic meaning is we take a sports car, also the chassis from a sports car. It is actually a Nissan 370Z chassis, the platform really based on that sports car. And then we put it high, and as I think it really looks that way. If you first see the car, you think, is something not fitting here? What is that? I mean, is it an SUV or not? It's the crossover. A little bit looks like a sports car from the upper part, but not from the lower part. So we kind of got two cars together, and also from the front. It's very different from other cars we see here. It's not the typical design language nowadays, where you get a straight line at the upside and two round lines at the headlights at the downside. That also distinguishes this car. And then you see that we got two very high bumps here on the hood. They are carried through, and you better see them actually from the driver's perspective. I'm showing you later on. Now you can maybe see it. Maybe a little bit reminds of a Porsche 911, just from that basic form. And that also makes the car very special. Here we got 21-inch alloys. That's really huge, and they look so massive on that car. You could be afraid that you could damage them. For example, I have a basement garage, and you always have to get out there. But then you see here, in this case, although we have 21-inch alloys, we still got a lot of space at the tire, and that actually does protect the alloy. That's very important, because otherwise when you got so huge alloys, you always get scratches. Well, what else do you see? We get a fake air outtake here now. No one needs that today. It was formerly for drum brake discs that you would need such things, but it's just a design highlight here in that case. Then it says 3-liter diesel. This is a 3-liter diesel. It's the only relevant diesel for Germany. I'm showing you on the hood soon. And in America you also have the petrol engines, of course. So, but let's first continue with the design. This one here is a Sports, the S design line. See, the chrome is also continued here. And we get a coupe ending. That's also very important for this car. This coupe style also marks this sporty design. And at the back we see the same headlight form again. And I must say, well, it's not a calm design. It is rather a free design. You think that some designers were allowed to play a bit. But I think that's good, because it's so different from the other cars. Then here it says the S line, QX70S, and two huge pipes for that diesel, and they actually do make a quite good sound. So that was the design overview. The first generation was running from 2003 till 2009, and it was called Infiniti FX. Well, it continued that name, and 2012 there was a latest facelift, for example with a new front grille, and there was also the new name QX70 now, because they want to align it to the other names of Infiniti, which is quite logical, I think, in that case. And well, first of all, what do you do to fight against Audi, BMW and Mercedes, especially in that class? Well, you have to be different, because you can't offer just the same thing. People will still buy the usual stuff. So, it is different, check. And then what else can you do? Well, you have to have the same quality. And for example, in that case, at the QX70, Infiniti really paid attention to the clearance, the famous German Spaltmaße, as you say in German. So it's kind of like you see where does one line end to another, and are there a lot of grade, or are there just small gaps when two parts are linking to each other? And we are taking a look at that now. For example, here at the hood, we see there's a very equal clearance. That looks very good. Now let's see here. For example, here you really see it from Japanese cars, something that they have often differentiations with something like small lines are ending, but this here all looks pretty good actually. You see this black gloss gets greasy quite easily. So also here quite good clearance. Let's see how the handlebars are working. You know, they get a little bit loose here, you see. Not that good, I think. But then we go to the interior and we do some clearance check in the interior, and there we can really see it. You see this line fits here. Very well done. So I think this basic quality clearance price is very good. Besides that, well, this here looks rather cheap, I think. It's not very hard black plastic. It's made a little bit soft, just a little bit. But still, I think the German manufacturers look better here. What I really love are the seats. You know, it's very nicely done here with the Infiniti logo on it. And also the contrast between the pure leather at the outside and this leather structure here in the inside. That is also very nice. We also got the premium trim level here. You can see it here, for example, for the leather seats. We got heating and cooling. I'm going to turn on the ignition now. By the way, it's a very nice feature. I turn on the ignition and then the seat pulls me forward, so and it pulls backward again when I jump out, and that is comfortable for getting out and getting in. So, and here now the heating and the cooling is 3 levels to the right for heating and 3 levels to the left for cooling. And well, what is not that good actually, that the cooling, at least how I feel it, mainly comes out here. So where the transition between your back and well, you know, your famous lower part is, I think that's not too good. It should rather come out here mainly, and also here because you sweat on it. But it's very good to have this function, because on these leather seats you would very much sweat in the summertime, for example. So that's quite good. Also for tall people, we can make the seats longer. That's especially important for me. And in general, I feel very comfortable on these nice seats. I think the seats are the highlight here. Then we have a small panoramic roof. And actually the button for it to open it doesn't feel so good. And also when you look at other buttons, for example, for suspension, sport, to make it a little bit more stiff, or auto, listen to it, and then like it also feels a bit cheap. And I think that's quite a problem here. Also these buttons, they are not premium. It's like very soft rubber, whereas the clock looks pretty fine again. Well, the multimedia system is also quite good because it offers 2 kinds of controls. You either can push the buttons here, for example, access the telephone or also the GPS. And then again, you can also use the touchscreen. So whatever you prefer, use touchscreen or the control pad here. Also here, you can zoom in, or you can also do anything with the arrows. Some sound. So that's quite good, I think. I tried to connect my iPhone to it, and well, that works in a minute or something like that. But what was one problem? It was connected to the phone then, but I had to go to the audio settings, to the Bluetooth settings then, and then I had to remove the previous iPhone which was connected to it. That was not so practical. Here, for example, you see you can change the audio stuff. There's a Bose sound system here. You see it here, up here. It's a Bose sign. It's very clear sound. I really love the sound system here. The steering wheel is, well, quite short for such a big car. It looks quite good, but the material, well, for example, in the Volkswagen, I think the material is just like, you know, more classy. I'm not so convinced of that steering wheel. And also the steering, you don't really feel connected to the road. And well, with this sporty attitude, you probably should. Then the instruments in the front, they are pretty nice because you got this blue background. And you see the diesel says here 8.4 liters. That is really not much, and it's kind of the official figure Infiniti states with this consumption, and that is very, very good. Well, I wasn't pressing the throttle too hard, but it's also not so much fun in this car. You got a lot of torque, but still, it's more like for the relaxing ride. By the way, you see the design lines, the two I mentioned. It's almost like looking out of a Porsche 911 if you just see these, you know, above the headlights, these two, and here. That's quite funny. So the multimedia system is not that convincing as, for example, in the new Infiniti Q50, where we got the two screens in the front then, and also got the screen which is kind of covered in glass and looks like an iPad. So we see Infiniti can do this, but this car, well, it is not the newest one, even if it had just a slight facelift quite recently. But maybe this will be fixed with the next generation, because I think this car has a lot of potential. I think from the driving feeling it maybe comes close to the Porsche Cayenne. Okay, Porsche fans would maybe kill me now, but I'm just saying it comes close. The Porsche is way more convincing when driving, I must say, and it also feels sporty because this one isn't such equipped with a sporty attitude, because you're like always flying a bit on the road, so you got great comfort. It's perfect for long rides, because you feel really like there's a car somewhere higher attached on the suspension, and then it's a bit rolling around. It's kind of a very funny feeling, but it's definitely not that sporty. So not with this S Sport attitude 360, 370Z platform. No, you shouldn't forget the sporty. You should forget the sporty attitude here. It's not for Porsche Cayenne fans, really not. But it's for someone who really loves this very, very special exterior and who likes to sit very high and have this very comfy, smooth ride on the road. I promised to give you a look under the hood. This one here is a 3.0 liter V6 diesel with 238 horsepower. That delivers 550 Newton meters of torque and is always, I'm telling you, it's always enough. Really very strong engine, and as I've told you, it's also okay for the consumption. In the USA you got this 3.7 liter V6 petrol engine as the entry version with 325 horsepower, and there's also a 5 liter V8 petrol engine with 390 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque. But that tells us even this 3.0 liter diesel has enough torque to power out the petrol engines. Well, and then there's also a 3.7 liter diesel with 320 horsepower to even a stronger one. But I would really go for that 3.0 liter diesel. You can go to sport mode here. Wow! For an SUV, that's really not bad for a diesel. By the way, this is here the 360 degrees surround view. You have the rear camera as well here, this fake view, where you can see how you can park in from the upside. It's an aerial fake view. Coming back to the inside of the car, we're sitting here in the back now, and I must say, well, beside of the function that the front seat is going back and front automatically for this comfort driver mode, you maybe should turn it off or something like that if you're having rear seat passengers. In general, as an adult, it's very good here in the back. It's so comfortable. The seats are extremely relaxing, I must say, and also for tall persons there's enough head clearance, and well, also for legs. I pushed it a little bit in the front now because this automatic function put it back, but still very comfortable, and I can very well imagine that 4 adults travel here also a long way. And one of my favorite features is right here. We can press the key, you hold it a little bit, then it beeps, and it automatically opens the hatch. Very nice functioning, especially for shopping bags. Well, you see the trunk isn't too high, and it's also cut off here because you got that nice coupe line. But still, if you put suitcases, if you lay them down, you have space for 2 big suitcases, for example, and also, well, your groceries won't be a problem. It's always a compromise between design and more space for the trunk. And for example, you can either push the button up here, then it's possible. Also, what is not quite often possible, you can do it with the key here, even to close it. That's often not allowed due to safety reasons, but here it works. It's also quite slow, so shouldn't happen too much, and you should always watch the process. What do you think about the car? Especially our American friends. I want to know, what do you think about the car, what do you think about the design, and also how famous Infiniti is in your particular country you're living in and you're watching Autogefühl. I think the car is very beautiful, and it so much stands alone, and that makes it so special. It could be a little bit better than when driving, and also the interior quality could be more convincing, but in general, if you want to be special, if you want to be seen on the road and not drive something else, what everyone else does, this could be your pick. So what do you think? Infiniti QX70 or Porsche Cayenne? Well, and finally about the price, I can just state the example here for Germany so we can compare it. It starts at 52,000 euros, and that's kind of the same price as a Volkswagen Touareg or, for example, a BMW X5. So you see, well, it is, yes, it is of course premium, also price-wise, but for that price you already get some of the features you have inside. For example, the leather seats are already serial, so you get more of the serial features with the Infiniti than with the other competitors. Then if you move up the price range a little bit, maybe Lexus RX, then the Audi Q7 already more expensive, and then like 6,000 euros more is Porsche Cayenne, and so you have this higher price region here also with Range Rover Sport, for example. And then again, if you add more features and also compare it to other cars with the same trim level, the more features you add here, the bigger the price difference is. So in general, I've told you the interior quality, maybe some very little details with the buttons are not catching up with the premium competitors, but it is cheaper, really. It is cheaper, and especially when you put more of the trim level in it, then it's even cheaper. So you can save money with it and look different, look very different, and also have this very beautiful design. So that could be maybe the deciding factor at the end of the day. You save a little bit money in comparison to the other premium manufacturers, especially to the German ones, and then you still have this very distinguishable car. So what do you think? Have you driven one, or maybe are you owning one? Do you maybe want to buy one? And looking at the video, tell me please what you think about the video. And I hope to see you next time at Autogefühl.